Oh my god, desoldering is a pain in the arse. Thought it was moving a minute ago. This is an Xbox controller. So I had a bit of stick drift, which means that when the thumbsticks are supposed to be central, they're actually making your character move or the camera move. And they're not even that old, they're just crap. There are potentiometers, right, which are, there's friction in there, there's wear, they wear out, but these wear, anyway. They're probably in the warranty, you could have sent them back. You can send them off to other places and they'll replace the thumbsticks. But I bought myself some fancy TMR thumbsticks. And I thought I'll desolder the old ones and put the new ones in. I got one out, but there are 1, 2, 3, how many are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 pins to desolder. I've done one, took forever. Doing the other one now, expect it to take another forever. And yeah, I've added fresh solder to get it all to flow. And I haven't got any braid. I did order some, didn't turn up. I got braid on a brush, but slow heat, suck it out, heat, suck it out, heat, suck it out. 14 pins. Why am I doing this? So there are Hall Effect sticks, which use a magnetic principle. And then the latest was the TMR, tunneling magneto-resistant form of, it's not, anyway, uses a form of quantum physics apparently. Electrons going through something. As you move the stick, it changes the, I don't know, difficulty with which the electrons, something like that. I read about it ages ago. Anyway, there are no moving parts, they shouldn't wear out. Also, seems like a fun project, right? Take your Xbox controller apart, put in new sticks. If it works, yay. If it doesn't work, they only cost me 20 quid. And, you know, I wasn't going to use the controller anyway. But still, you do wonder why we do these difficult things. Well, I guess it's because the same old thing, isn't it? Same reasons I ever repair things. A, I want to know how everything works. Take it apart, put it back together, replace bits. You understand how it works, right? That applies to the world as a whole. You don't know how difficult it's going to be until you try it, right? Sometimes you've just got to try something, even if you think it's going to suck, because you don't know how hard it's going to be. Sometimes these things are easier than I expected them to be. It does happen. You just remember the ones that are harder than you expected them to be. I mean, this sort of thing is finicky, and it just takes a long time. And it's a pain in the ass. You also don't know if you're going to enjoy something until you give it a go. I even went to the opera once. The most boring thing I've ever done. I hated it. But at least I know never to go to the opera again, right? You also don't know if you're going to be good at something until you give it a solid go. Things like this, you can read about how to do it. It tends to look fairly straightforward when other people do it. But it's one of those things you kind of gotta spend some time on and get stuck into to kind of figure out all the little nuances. It's physical learning, right? To figure out, you got to figure out all the tips and tricks yourself and then by pushing yourself through the difficult parts, putting some solid time into it, it starts to get easier because you start to develop some skills and you have some experience and you think, yeah, I know how to do that. This is how I should go about this task. And you also know whether you shouldn't even start it because you know you're going to hate it. You always seem to need 3 or 4 hands for soldering as well. That's hot. 3 or 4 hands for soldering as well. Let's try I used to dissect embryos, so this is not the finest, as in the tiniest work I've ever done. Oh, I can see it moving. Go on, come on. One little bit. Just need to get, so there's 3 pins coming through the board together to that one component. So it's not like you can desolder 1 pin or 2 pins and put out the component. No, somehow, magically, you've got to melt the solder and remove as much solder as you can on 3 pins and then wiggle it out. So you kind of got to try and keep everything molten and get it coming out at an angle. Why is it's always the third leg that's hardest to... Oh, you swine, are you out? You're out. Yay. Okay. The 2 potentiometers, 2 of the little sods. Okay. And then those little bits of success, of course, spur you on and think, well, I'm doing it. So that's 6 pins done. There are 4 pins just holding the frame in and 4 pins holding the switch over there. Do I try and cut that switch out? Yes, I think so. The heat I'm putting into it is less well dissipated by the frame, so it's easier to melt the solder. And it's also easier to get hold of individual bits and wiggle them out, right? I do kind of, like many people, go after difficult things that are challenging, because that's interesting, right? Because when you do something, like I really don't know if I'm going to succeed. If I manage to take this apart, clean up all the holes, solder in the new controllers, I still don't know if it's going to work up until the point where I connect it to the Xbox and run the calibration software, right? And it could fail, and sure, monetarily, it's not going to cost me much if I fail, but it'll suck, and I know what that feels like. That's going to feel like it sucks, but of course, if it works, I'm going to feel pretty great, and that really is what this is all about, isn't it? Is that you do difficult and challenging things, and when you succeed, you think, oh yeah, this feels good, and then you kind of have to keep repeating things to try and reproduce that feeling, don't you? And it's like I shouldn't really say drug, but it's you keep finding either new or more challenging things to do to get that same sort of feeling. This was sucking. It's sucking less now because I'm making progress, and I'm feeling like I'm actually gonna succeed, at least in the desoldering section. And then soldering, of course, is easy. Be a bit of a pain clearing out all these holes, but I'm getting there, slow and methodical. And of course, if I do get this to work, in the future, whenever I pick this controller up, I'll feel pretty smug, won't I? I'll think, yeah, I did that. And if I fail, I can just forget all about it, pretend it never happened, right? That last bit just fell out. I say just fell out after. Okay, I put the daughter board back on. That's where the new components went in. So the new component went in on here just fine, soldered it on, took seconds. This side I did the usual, you spend hours doing a thing and then you try and save yourself a few minutes and you screw the whole thing up. I'd cleaned most of the holes, a couple of the holes weren't entirely clear, but I thought, hey, I'll just push on the component, heat up the solder, and it'll go on fine. And it didn't, but it's kind of gone on fine. There's enough of the leads to make a good connection. But it's like 0.5 millimeter off the board or something. And I probably made a little bit, I could see a bit of damage to the PCB where I'm worried about having made a short. So of course I could test for continuity, or I could just put it back together again and just, see if it works, but all right. Okay then, here's the first moment of truth. Let's put some batteries in. I mean, it should at least light up, right? Okay, good start. Second moment of truth. I need to calibrate these on the Xbox if it does actually connect to the Xbox. So it's switched the Xbox on, which is good. Okay, that's not right. Okay, this might be expected because I haven't calibrated the thumbsticks, but at least it's connected. Oh. Huh. But it's not in the side that... I think the short should be between those 3 pins. That's the right thumbstick. I think that's the potentiometer controlling left and right movements. Can you see anything? Don't think I can see anything. Maybe. Is that better? Has that made any difference? No. Right, I've just reflowed the solder for the right stick on just the 3 pins. One of them did look a bit dry maybe. And just a reminder, this isn't the one I thought I'd bodged. The one I thought I'd bodged seems to work okay. Okay, third time's the charm, or third time I give up and go and do something else. Oh, it was pausing then and then it... What a... I failed. What beans did? I thought I did that side well. I don't know what I've done. Don't get it. Damn. Was that a waste of time? Probably. You're always learning. I wonder whether between the board and that new component... But I checked that was clean. I checked it was all clean. I don't know. Oh well, you don't try, you don't learn.